Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are here sitting down with Vince and Tamika post reunion.
What's up,
Post
everybody?
reunion. How you doing? You alright, guys?
We're great. We're great. How's everybody else out there?
Oh, I think they're alive. I think they're good. I think they're really, really good. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming on here and having a sit down conversation with myself. After watching reunion this morning, I was like, "Yo, Vince and Tamika are like number one blood." I am not going to lie. I didn't see it coming. Okay, the way I'm being deadly serious. After watching reunion, I said everybody else is crazy, but Vincent Tamika, and I didn't think I was gonna say that all season. So I really being serious. I want to commend you two because, like I said, Dr. Nicole said that you guys put the work in, and so again, thank you for taking this call to have a conversation with myself today, and
Absolutely.
we'll have a good conversation going forward today. We'll have a good conversation. But I guess before we go any further, I want to do what we always do best here. It's the human verification. We got to make sure that you two now sitting in front of me are not a hologram or a deep fake. You got to make sure. You understand? So ask some real questions before we start the conversation. So
Okay.
here's a riddle for both of you.
Okay.
What can you catch but never throw?
A cold.
Absolutely.
God damn.
Good answer.
I mean, that was right.
Good answer.
I'm a little bit shook. I think we've got some deep fakes here, guys. They're not real. Um, my second riddle: who who is that with a neck and no head, two arms and no hands? What is it?
Mr. Potato Head? I don't know.
You got me on that one.
It's a shirt.
Oh, man.
No, yeah. I'm only reporting the news, guys. Okay, don't shoot me. I'm only reporting the news.
Right.
Don't shoot me. All right. And the final thing, I got some lyrics for you guys to kind of give me. So, the lyrics go, "Said I'd done it all, but frankly, girl, I'm tired of this emptiness. I want to come home to you and only you, 'cause making love to just anyone ain't happening. I just gotta be with you."
We can no younger, you might as well.
Oh, my boy. Jagged
Jagged
Edge.
Edge.
All right, Tamika coming strong for the team out here. Listen, bro, if you go to the quiz night, you know who you got to take. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not gonna be on my team and bringing me down. I'm gonna be on the winners team.
He's good at stuff like that.
I am.
Yeah, appreciate that, guys. That's the human verification done. We can tell you guys are humans. But we've sat down before individually, Vince and Tamika. We've had a great conversation. We've got to know you guys a bit more in your backgrounds as well going forward. Obviously, how are you guys feeling after watching yourselves back on the reunion?
I'm feeling good. I thought it looked really nice. The whole time we were there, actually, I just was like kind of in awe because I was just like, wow, all this is for us. You know what I mean? And then the fact that we didn't really have to deal with like drama on the reunion as expected. You know what I mean? We kind of just went in it with the same heads that we always had and just, went into it with a positive outlook, and it was nice. I liked it a lot.
Mm,
Yeah,
how?
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
go to me. Yeah, go for it to me. Yeah.
Well, no, I guess to piggyback off of him, watching it, I of course we weren't in the room when actually when the couple split up and talked to Egypt and Dr. Nicole separately. So being able to see that and be like, whoa, okay, this is what happened, kind of thing. But other than that, I mean, I feel like it was very tasteful compared to other reunion shows we've seen on other stuff.
I agree with that. I mean, when I watched it, I said, "Oh, there was." I mean, it was nice. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Love and Hip Hop.
No.
It wasn't last season's Ready to Love where there was that madness. But yeah, it was. It was good. It was good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I respect that as well. And obviously, I mean, for you guys, obviously going through that whole process on the reunion, and you guys were filming for a very long time as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously I'm guessing it's your first reunion ever. What was your kind of experience of the actual process of that, doing that reunion, shooting it?
Well, for me, of course, since it was our first one, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I wasn't sure what clips they were going to show us, to get our reaction, to talk about it. So I just went in it, of course, being open and being ready to be vulnerable like we've been doing for the whole show. So I feel like it wasn't any different than actually filming the show. It's just that now we were coming back to recap everything that happened during the filming process. So yeah.
Were there any clips that you guys watched back and was like, my oh my?
I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, we at that point we were just
I was so over it.
Ready to enjoy ourselves and just kick it, go out with a bang with the reunion thing.
Right.
It was a lot of waiting though. We filmed a long time that day. It was a lot of waiting, a lot of isolation. I didn't see her.
It had to be safe.
Yeah, I didn't see her. No, I'm talking about like the couples.
Oh, the guys had to be safe. Yeah.
So because the guys were just in one area and the women were in one area, and I think they had the dates and stuff in one area. So it was all this isolation. So we didn't get to see each other until we actually went out on the set floor. Yeah.
Do you think they did it on purpose to kind of?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're really good at at that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Because they don't want us to talk about anything until we actually get out there. So.
Was there any kind of conversations that you guys had on the couch that was kind of surprising or kind of that maybe made you guys think or anything like that?
No, we knew everything to expect. I mean, we already went through it, so it was just kind of revisiting different things.
Well, I will say I was not expecting for them to bring the dates out. So when the dates came, I was like, "Oh, this is about to be fun." But I didn't know, that. But I don't know. It was all in all, it was tasteful.
Yeah,
it was a really good experience.
I love that. Since we're talking about dates already, I guess we can talk about that as well.
Good segue.
What's a flow, girl? What's a flow? You know what I mean? Obviously, like both of you obviously went on to dates. Tamika, you went on to a few. With obviously your particular dates, Tamika, obviously, you found, I guess what you said, your voice. What about the experience gave you that confidence and that voice that you said you got back?
I think it was just being able to, because even when we were doing this,
no, go ahead.
You're good. Don't worry.
Something's going on with the screen. Even when we were doing the sessions, I felt like when I was trying to get through to him, I wasn't able to. And each time we did a session, I felt like I was growing as myself, because before I felt like I would try to tell him how I feel, but then I would be overpowered with, "Oh, you need to get over it." We would always do this back and forth. So by the end of the process, I just felt like, okay, the sessions with Dr. Nicole, the one-on-ones with Dr. Nicole, it really helped me find out that I did lose a little bit of myself in the situation, and being able to go on these dates with Devin and being able to, it's like a new start type thing. So I felt refreshed. That's our favorite thing to say. I felt refreshed. It was something new. It was something exciting. It was something fun. And I let down my guard, I guess. So I feel like, in a sense, all of that allowed me to really see what I was missing from this relationship as well as myself. And it was just me being able to just be who I really am, instead of always being on edge and like, "Oh, well, I want to say this, but I'm scared to say it because I know it's going to start a fight," type thing. So I just feel like this entire process helped me, be able to do me.
Were you at any point yourself, Vince, man to man, were you at any point when you're seeing that she's going on a few dates with the same gentleman, was there any kind of feeling of what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the initial pickup, like when the dates come pick you up and all, that already was weird. Just being able to allow that to happen and not have, kind of have a rebuttal about it or anything. And then, while she was out on the dates and stuff, I wasn't really in my head too much. It was after when, like when we would talk about it, or certain things were brought up about the emotional connection and all of that, so it was new to me, man. It was something that I would had to really embrace and really trust
Mm.
because it would be a devastating moment for any of the couples if somebody were to be like, oh, like, I'm feeling this person. Let me see what this is about, So, with that said, I think that was everyone's, if they had a fear, that was their fear, you know?
And I think that's a very, very real fear, which is, I guess, why I, I couldn't go on the show. I couldn't do it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. A lot of
Um,
people tell us, trust me.
yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd lose my mind. I think Hollywood's done a good reaction. I think I'd be worse than Hollywood. So, yeah,
It would have turned into a whole different show real quick.
whole different show. Yeah, popping off, real different. I mean, obviously, obviously, like you're saying about that emotional connection,
Mhm.
and that kind of fear of it. I guess Costa Rica went on a few dates several times, but I want to
Mhm.
talk to you, Vince, as well. Like, so did you not go on a date with? Was it Christina? Her name? I don't
Christina.
know. Christina, right? Yeah. Did you not go on any further dates to avoid emotional connection? Because it sounded like you two were actually kind of cool. Y'all had the same kind of hobbies. Like that camera stuff was cute. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like y'all
Yeah.
looked like you had some mental connection, at least in that regard of hobbies and stuff.
Yeah, we definitely did. And that's the things where that's when trouble starts to, and then when there's consistency, people start to grow feelings for each other. It's just a natural thing. And that's where, I know how she, I know how she expresses emotion, like to the way she smiles at someone, the way she looks at him. So, and I would, and in film, I could see her looking at this man like,
Mm,
she was kind of interested or whatever. So
mm,
those things, those make hair stand up on your neck, on the
mm,
back of your neck a little, when you really think about it, because it's just like that's kind of a form of cheating. Not cheating,
mm.
but
I know what you mean.
like that's
No,
like
no, I'm with you, bro.
yeah,
No,
so
no, no.
I'm
The girls trying to
cheating. You
deny these
know
stuff,
about
bro.
it.
But this is
Hello.
a form of cheating. I ain't gonna lie to you. Go on, sir.
it's just that emotional thing is everything really, because even before it gets to a physical,
Hmm.
that emotional connection has to be there. And that means you're opening up something for someone to penetrate that. So yeah, man,
That's why
it's
you didn't go
a
on
little
a third
scary.
date.
No, that's not why.
See, I knew.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, absolutely, because I didn't need to keep exploring the feelings between me and her, because
Hmm.
I didn't want to be with her,
I get
and I
you.
wasn't going to leave Tamika to be with her either.
Mm,
I knew that in my head, so
mm,
it wasn't fair for me to keep leading her on, knowing that it's a possibility that she actually liked me. You know what I mean?
mm. And obviously, she did mention about the little bit of the ghosting. It's not fun to be ghosted.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, bro. What
Yeah,
happened
she
there,
when we
bro?
were on the date, she asked me before the date was over, so will we be getting, and I told her, yeah, that's a possibility. But after, when I was talking to the, I just told production, like, what, I'm good. Like, I don't need to keep, just go put myself through this. Like, I just want to get to the bottom of what me and Tamika are really trying to explore. Yeah.
Mm,
So, but
right.
I did actually. They didn't show it, but I went on another date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
well, a totally different person,
oh,
but I
okay.
did go on another date with somebody, but they didn't show that.
Okay. So you went
Yeah,
on another date.
yeah.
Okay. So, okay.
She was
Yeah. No, I
like a
get you. I get
tennis
you.
player or something like that.
And
I
I
can't
think she
even
was a
remember her
model or
name.
something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're a tennis player. Did you play ball?
Yeah, she plays tennis, professional tennis, but I don't remember her name. So
I know. Don't worry. Don't worry. I was about to we don't win no trouble. All right. No, okay, I get that. I get that. Okay. So Tamika, when you obviously, and I think this is so interesting because I think this is where conversation can really get spicy. Because I think I've noticed that like Vince and Hollywood kind of were like, listen, we're not entering into the sphere of entering into dates several times over, but the ladies seem to be like, she, we gonna do this. We gonna play within the legal remits. So Tamika, Tamika,
right.
I saw you obviously kind of like looking at Vince when he was talking about the date. So for you, um, what was the experience like in terms of because like for I think as a guy watching your missus go on a date with someone else is one thing, but like he said, seeing someone and potentially seeing them. smiling because the man is making them smile, like how the way I make you smile, giving me that Colgate right now. You understand? And now he's doing that. That's a scary thought. How did you deal with those kind of feelings that potentially you could actually create an actual connection with somebody? How did you deal with that?
Ooh. Um, I did stop it before it actually got to that point because, like I said, I kept going on dates with Devin because I did initially feel some kind of connection, but it also is because we didn't really get a chance to get to know each other with the first and second dates because they were like really cut kind of short. So I really did want to sit down and give him the opportunity to really, I wanted to get to know him and know more like about his religious background, if he has kids, his past relationships, how he feels about marriage, things like that. But I also knew not to go or continue going because I feel like if I would have continued down the rabbit hole, then things would have been messy. And I didn't want to do all that, so I had to cut it off.
Is that tough though? Because maybe not the cutoff though,
Okay.
but the premise of this actions that they're asking you to take, which is to go on these dates, and and that risk that where you could create a connection. I mean, did that not scare both of you? Like when you were actually engaging in it, going on a date, did that not scare you initially?
I feel like initially for me, it did scare me, but at the end of the day, I also feel like whenever you're going on a date with someone, they're bringing their representative. So you don't necessarily know the real person until months and months later. So of course, everybody's going to bring their best foot forward on a date. So that I wasn't really worried too much, but I also was kind of like, well, even if they are bringing their representative, it still might be something there that they connect with. And I don't know, what about you?
Yeah. It's different for me, bro. I just wasn't going into it with an open mind like that. You know what I mean? At first, because it didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, why am I here with this person? But the first date, I didn't really get it. The second date and the third date, I was just like, like, okay, now I see what's supposed to happen here and what it's supposed to bring out. So I embraced it more. So by the time we got to the photo date with Christina, I was more open to everything than I was before. You know what I mean? I was kind of just a little reserved, just because I didn't really understand it. And I didn't want to hurt my lady's feelings by giving this woman too much of me. You know what I mean?
No, I respect that. Like I said, it couldn't be me. You know what I mean? It couldn't be. I couldn't do the show. Couldn't be me. You know what I'm saying? and I really respect the fact that you two did go on the show. But it sounds like both of you did elicit very strong boundaries. And in fact, both Devin and Christina both praised you both for the way that you held your boundaries in your dates with them. So it's clear that you two came in with game plans. When you went into those dates, you made sure that you had established those boundaries so that you knew where this could and could not go. So that's very, very important. And I think I commend you for that. And obviously that's part of the work that you guys have been doing as well. So I guess obviously I can talk about now, we can go into leading to work. When Dr. Nicole said you guys have been doing the work, describe to me what doing the work is.
Take it away, consult.
In those sessions, Kojo, it was man, how do you describe it? It was
intense,
yeah,
overwhelming,
very intense, very overwhelming,
exhausting.
Yeah, because she's picking you apart. She's picking you apart and then putting you piece by piece back together over these weeks, like literally just like that. So she's giving you these assignments. She's giving you all these emotions to go through just to figure out one little thing that week. You know what I mean? Just for that week.
Yeah, we had topics each week that we had to focus on in our relationship. Yeah. So like the first week or second week it was family. Then after that we did intimacy. Then after that we did insecurity. So we had like different topics that we had to focus on.
Yeah. And man, just a lot of emotions. And I tell everybody that I don't care whatever they think scripted or these are real emotions, and real feelings, like period. Like there's no, I don't just cry for no reason. You know what I mean? So when people ask me that, I'm just like, it's just weird because, like, you know, I actually went through it. They didn't, so they don't know. But I'm just like, nah, ain't no acting. Like, I don't see how that can be acting. That's some great acting. Like, because people, you know. But yeah, man, the sessions were really intense, and we took those the elements that she gave us, and then when you come back home is when it gets real. You know what I mean? That's when we have to figure out how to use
to utilize
use the work the right way. And it starts with yourself. It's not about it's not about thinking about her or what. You got to start it with yourself so that everything will open up for the both of you. You know what I mean?
When you say it starts with yourself, I know what you mean, but what do you mean by that? What do you mean by it starts with yourself in that regard?
Because there's so we had trust and communication issues, right? So when you focus on that, so we go do the TV show, whatever, then we come home to real life, and it's like, okay, how do I communicate that? What Miss Doc said, how do I use that to communicate better with Tamika? And how do I use that to create a safe space for Tamika so she can come ask me something without thinking I'm going to be upset about it? You know, just different things like that. And we had to, you know, that's the work. That's what the work was just figuring out how to apply it to your life. And that's what I meant by individually first, and then we could put it together.
And for me, myself personally, I'm a firecracker. I know that probably wasn't shown on the show, but I be coming at him like I be ready to go. So if he ready to go and I'm ready to go, we be in here like, all right, so what you want to do, kind of thing. But of course, like he said, Dr. Nicole was able to tell us, okay, the way you guys communicate is not working. So how about try something new? And she would give us little tools. And then when we come home and when we're in the heat of a discussion coming from a session, I'd be like, okay, let's stop right now. I was like, what did Dr. Nicole tell us? Because we just sat in that session for 10 hours. So we about to apply something, god darn it. So we were just like, okay, let's talk. I was like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? This is my issue. Let me try to understand your issue. So instead of us arguing, or one of us just like, whatever, because I'm the one that's just like, whatever, and I'll just leave. And he's the one that's like, no, come back and talk. And I'm like, whatever. But instead of that, it was more so, I want to hear what you have to say. I'm going to comprehend, understand. Instead of coming back with a rebuttal, I'm really going to listen and let you know that I hear you and that I'm listening. But now that you're done talking, I'm going to tell you my side. It's
my turn.
I'm going to tell you my side. And then we can come to some type of compromise. Because sometimes when we argue, or I guess for any couple, it's like, it's not really about the issue, for me anyway. It's about winning. It's like, you're wrong, listen to me. I'm going to win kind of thing, instead of really getting to the root of the issue. So it really helped us get to what the root was instead of always trying to prove each other wrong type thing.
Yeah, and we're not, man, listen, just because we're still working on it. We still, you know, it ain't got perfect just because we did the life coaching. You know, we still need more coaching.
I still want to,
you know what I mean?
Get down.
So I don't want everybody to think like, oh, nah. It's not like we're still learning. Like every day, we're still learning. We just had an argument the other day about something. I don't even remember what it was, so that's how unserious it was. But still,
I'm gonna remember now.
You know, we're
brought it up. No.
we're taking it day by day, man, and just I just want to make sure I'm good so that I'm good for her and the both of us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think you two have, and that's how I know you guys have done the work, because of what you just spoke about in that particular instance. So if you guys, when I say you guys, I'm in the audience, sorry. When the audience have kind of followed me for a long while, we've spoken about one of the key things. One is emotional safety.
Yes.
Two is that you're not arguing to win. Okay, if you're arguing to win, you're going to lose.
Always.
And also as well, figuring out how best to argue, because arguments are going to happen. They are oftentimes unavoidable, but it's how you actually argue. And if you have that mentality, which you just mentioned about not winning, it becomes a more selfless act, in the sense of, I've got to think about, for us to win, I've got to think about not just me winning this argument, but how do I best try to understand the person who's speaking to me right now and get an understanding of where they're coming from so that we can both see from each other's point of view.
Right.
And so what you've spoken about that right there is absolutely the kind of totality of when couples get to a place where they're really going to win. That is the mentality they need to have. So what you guys have described there is perfect. I mean, obviously, Vince, let me talk to you as well, guy to guy. How did you, because obviously emotions are not so easy for men. Yeah, tapping into those emotions are not always the easiest for us men. How did you handle, because Dr. Nicole is like a knife to butter. So how did you handle dealing with your emotions?
It was difficult. It was
I know.
it was difficult. It was difficult. As time went on, I opened up to her a lot more. I trusted her more. You know, she man, she picks you apart so well, and gives you the tools to put yourself back together. It's kind of hard to describe because she's so good at it. Like it's man, it's like she's known you forever, kind of. You know what I mean? Because she's like, oh, so you okay? So, I don't know, man. It's weird. I wish people could be in those just to see how she just pinpoints things. You know what I mean? And it's just like, nah, like this is how you're doing it. Try it this way, and you're just like, dang, like wow, okay, I see where you're going with it. You know.
Was it hard for you to open up to her at first?
Yeah, it was.
Because I wasn't there when you had y'all's one-on-one thing. So.
Yeah, well, you remember when I was it took a little second for me to kind of be like all in the sessions, I guess.
It did.
Why do you think for you, Vince, it took you a little second to be all in?
Just letting my emotions out to a total stranger and 4 other strangers. Well, 30 other because y'all don't see, just see who's on camera. Y'all don't see behind the camera. But yeah, man, it was challenging at first, but I knew I needed to be fully open to get the right help that we were seeking. So.
And Vince he's never been, I guess, the type of person to express his feelings until he met me. So it's like it's like pulling teeth trying to get him to talk about anything. And that's also where my frustration was coming from as well in the relationship. It's like, talk. What's wrong? I know something's wrong because I feel your energy. What is it? And then I'll get in my head and be like, oh, well, if you want to talk, then cool. You know, then that'll start.
You bounce off each other.
And she taught us about that too, that trying to self-medicate when you got a whole another person here that can help you through those the things, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm still learning that too. Sometimes, you know, I still just kind of try to figure things out in my head instead of being a little more verbal, you know?
I love that. And for you, Tamika, obviously, you know, being able to talk to Dr. Nicole and kind of share your experience and stuff as well. What were the kind of things that Dr. Nicole helped you kind of see? I know she installed the voice, helped you see the voice and everything like that. But for what other things do you feel like, you know, I guess obviously, what kind of things did you think you learned from Dr. Nicole or the sessions that you had that have really changed Tamika at this point?
For one, I hate to admit it, but she told me that I am not always right.
Oh, is that right?
I'm still debating that. No, I'm kidding. She told me that, you know, it's okay to say you're sorry instead of holding on to the ego. And for me, I feel like that was the biggest thing. It's like sometimes the ego will get in your way. Instead of apologizing, it's like you want to be right, like we were talking about earlier. You want to win because you know you're right, kind of thing. So I learned to let go of the ego. I learned that at times, not all times, that I may not be right. I learned how to communicate better, I guess, because like I was saying, me always thinking that I'm right about everything, because sometimes I am. I don't really necessarily want to hear what he has to say. So I learned to listen more, to understand more, to gosh, just so many things. I feel like both of us kind of learned all that, but yeah, I guess those are like the main highlights for me. But it's probably so much more that I learned as well.
Was there initial apprehension then? Because obviously, like Vince said, the apprehension was him sharing, obviously, with 30 other people in the screen room. But I mean, for you yourself, was there any apprehensions, starting off that journey and being able to express what Tamika is going through and what she's feeling initially?
No, you know what? I didn't really have time to think because from the moment we walked in that door when they introduced us, it was like go, go, go. So I couldn't even really process. It was just like, what's the problem? Okay, this is the problem. Okay. And I'm just like, we're here. Let's go. It was like a roller coaster type thing. So there was no apprehension for me because I really wanted to get the help. I didn't want to, I mean, no offense to you, but I didn't want to be closed off and reserved because that defeated the purpose of us being there. So I definitely went in with open mind, no apprehension. I was just like, let's do it because here we are and it's go time kind of thing.
I hear that and I appreciate that. So obviously, you have obviously put the work and everything like that. I guess I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask the key questions because obviously, throughout the whole of the season, y'all know, and then Vince looking at me with the blank saying like, Negro, don't you do it. Don't you do it.
This is how he always looks.
I know. When he
People
playing.
always be like, this looks so mean. He has a resting bee face. Like, that's just how he looks.
That's just normal. I understand. I'm playing. But I mean, obviously, for you two, obviously, one of the big issues, like you said, was trust and communication. Let me talk to Tamika first. So, on the reunion, you came with some different energy. I ain't gonna lie to you. There was a part where you started speaking. I said, "Is this Tamika?" Okay. This is Tamika 3.0 because you came with some vim. You was like, "Listen, it's not that. It's like I don't really mind what Vince does because as far as I'm concerned, I can go out and get another person." I was like, "Oh, Tamika. Oh, Tamika. Tamika. Okay." But obviously, you two, obviously, the main kind of source of contention that we saw on the show was the trust and the communication. So let me ask the question. How have you managed, Tamika, on your end to improve I said trust, but you kind of said already when you came on the show you weren't distrusting anyway, but how have you managed to update your kind of trust for Vince in that area? Because it on the show, it looked like there were parts where you still weren't fully trusting him. So how have you managed to, I guess, improve yourself on that journey of trust towards Vince, i.e. not checking phones and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like before we even got on the show, I wasn't really checking phones. So it's like, the reason he's bringing it up is because it was stuff that was happening before. But anyways, back to, look at me trying to prove my point. But, for me, I guess I was just working internally on myself and not necessarily trying to focus on what anybody else is doing at the time. It's like, I'm trying to get right with myself, trying to get right with God. Just focusing on those little things and trusting God that if anything were to happen, that it would be revealed kind of thing. So I'm not necessarily concerned about it. There's no intuition feeling, crazy feelings about anything going on. I trust him until he gives me a reason not to trust him again. But for that part, I don't care about really. I mean, it's still work to be done because I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm over it. But I mean, I understand that when all that went down, we were not together. So I couldn't really, I feel like I had a valid reason to be upset because, like I said, I wanted him to take accountability for it, excuse me. But at the end of the day, we weren't in a relationship, I guess. So there was no point of me holding on to that and that grudge and causing havoc in our relationship because I was just so angry that he wouldn't admit anything. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in a better space now. And I'm not really concerned about any of it. And if he's dumb enough to go do some stuff, then sorry to this man because hello. But
jeez, Tamika 3.0 out here. I hear this girl. Just gang signs. She just be shooting.
My DM flowing out, boo.
I hear that. Listen, I'm not even trying to play with that thing. Yeah. Vince, for you, obviously, when you hear this word accountability all the time, accountability all the time. I think before even the reunion, we had that last scene where you guys argued. And I did a video and I said, it looks like they ain't sorting that out. It looks like they get sorted out. But I mean, for you personally, when you hear that obviously she wanted you to take accountability, what does that sound like? What when you hear that, what are you hearing? Because it,
Um,
you know what I mean?
yeah, definitely. I before now, it was a tug of war, because I didn't fully accept it, I guess. But it took me to take accountability for every action that I did from then till now. You know what I mean? It just was like, I don't want her thinking that I'm just trying to dump anything on her shoulders, or because I did it. You know what I mean? I messed up. I wasn't fully honest. I could have avoided all of that.
You could have.
And I just, I made bad decisions, and I'm glad that we're able to get through that. Like,
So let me ask some tough questions now. All right, cool.
Is it okay if I get the charger? Because I don't
Oh
want our
yeah,
phone to disconnect.
please.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Come on, let's try that.
Because your phone's about to die.
There's no worries at all. So for you, Vince.
I'm trying to see if
Yeah.
I can get the.
For you, Vince. Obviously, in terms of trust and communication, for you, how has that been for you? Because obviously, like I said, I think for your end as well, I had some sympathy in terms of the fact that I've been in a situation where, bro, girls checking your phone, girls checking emails, girls checking where you at, girls questioning every move you've ever made in your entire life, and it is draining, and it's scary, because you care about the person, but they're making the four walls begin to close on you. How have you been able to move past that point with Tamika? And have you seen that improvement on the journey so far?
Is it on?
Sorry, we're trying to get this.
That's all right. Don't worry, girl. Do your thing. Do
Go
your
ahead,
thing,
though.
man. Connect the thing,
Got something
man.
on the switch. Oh, there's one.
Don't worry. Connect the thing,
Sorry.
man.
Ask your question again, Kojo.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, that's right. That's right. Obviously for you, from your experience, I spoke about Tamika's experience in terms of trust communication, but for you, as a man, I could also empathize with the fact that being in a situation or relationship where you may feel like the walls are kind of closing in, because obviously if someone checks your phone or if they check emails or whatever they check, right, and it's like FBI, you're living with FBI and CIA. Let's be honest. When you get that feeling, it can be very draining. So what improvements have you seen from Tamika to, make you feel at ease that that's not going to be a consistent pattern of behavior?
Oh yeah, she's that her effort to let me know that she's not she trusts me, and all of that. She's definitely I mean, she was doing a great job at that before. And I think that being on the show and us revisiting a lot of things kind of put her back into that space. So some of the stuff you guys were seeing, us reliving what we already been through 2 years and some change ago, but I brought back a lot of emotion. So
Relax.
what we were going through with the trusting, she doesn't check my phone that I see.
Listen, I don't care about your little phone boy.
She doesn't, it's not.
It's not big enough to phone, apparently.
Yeah, those things that we were dealing with before, certain situations about women or what, we're not dealing with those anymore. I mean, sometimes she might go back to her like feeling some type of way about something, but that's because she loves me, and she just doesn't.
It's because when am I going back?
No, I'm saying if like a woman's talking to me or something, you're gonna have questions about
a woman talking to you. When have I said anything about that?
I'm just saying.
She don't care now. She knows now. All of a sudden now Devon came through. She don't be caring about none of that.
It's gonna. I mean, the same vice versa. If I see her talking to a man, I'm gonna be like, yo, who's that? Like, you know what I mean? But us being in the public eye now, kind of, like last night, there's so many people that we're talking to. We don't know these folks, but in different situations, and we see couples do this, like things can be misconstrued. Like she could be
Yeah.
having a whole conversation with somebody and it'd be nothing. But if I was that type of person, I could make it something, you know.
I get you saying.
And we don't do that type of, we're not, you know, I respect her and who she knows and who she talks to, stuff like she has guy friends she grew up with. She introduces me to them, and you know, so we don't really deal with stuff like that. She's really good about like she's doing now, like saying, hey, you know, do your thing, I'll be all right, you know. So
Love that. Tamika, obviously, we'll be asking you to jump on. We'll be asking you, Tamika, to jump on a big conversation sometime next week or something like that. We spoke about boys and girls being friends, and I think it'd be good to have your opinion. All right.
Okay.
But so, I mean, even saying that, I mean, you're right. I mean, I think you're absolutely right, though. In relationships, things can get misconstrued if you're looking at it from a certain angle. And so that's why it's very important, I guess, to be having those kind of conversations that you guys have been having to really make sure that obviously everybody's in the right frame of mind, so that when they are seeing something, it's not from a distorted angle.
yeah.
So I definitely appreciate that as well. I guess I wanted to bring it to this point where it said, obviously, so have we sorted out this issue about the girl? Did she come out the room? Did she not come out the room? Because we need to know as an audience team now, is it done? Did we get it truth? Did we get it to the bottom of the situation?
The girl.
Did she come out? Did she not come out?
Came out of your apartment.
Wagwan.
Oh yeah. So you said was it resolved?
It's a result. I mean,
okay. When the last time we had the interview and you asked me, you said, was it the roommate's friend? I said no. And I said no. I never got proof that it wasn't the roommate's friend. It's just that text messages that I saw later on let me know that even if it was the roommate's friend, there was still something more going on. But he's already taken accountability for it. So I'm just like, all right, cool. But like, don't sit here and be like, oh, it wasn't the friend, but don't go into detail telling more about what the girl was to you.
So.
Viz, can you answer to that, please? Because we need to know. The audience need to know. Was she the friend? Was she not the friend? Like,
she definitely was her roommate's friend. She just didn't know her, so she didn't know that. And those are gaps, and those are things that I'm talking about can be misconstrued. Being how it unraveled, how she's coming out of my door and she's at my door, you know, that's not going to be received well from nobody. If I was Tamika, I would have did the same thing. So
did you go to the elevator? I just want to know. Did you go to the elevator? Did you go to the elevator? No, Vince, I need to know from you. Did you go to the elevator?
No, I didn't go to the elevator.
He didn't go to the elevator, but she was still coming out his house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Nicole said that anyway. Whether you went to, what she say? Whether you went to the elevator or not,
that's not the issue.
That's not what she said.
Trying to skate around and answer well, I mean, I didn't.
It's only a few paces.
Despite the fact that it was a whole girl, I didn't go to the elevator. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how Miss Doc was like, boy, it don't matter. Right. She went to no elevator, left the threshold. That's what she said. Left the threshold. She's like, it was a woman coming out of your house. So.
Trying to flip stuff around.
No, I hear that. I hear that. And you spoke, obviously, even just circling back, you spoke about, obviously, now you guys are a public figure, and I think we spoke behind the scenes as well. How do you then deal with the attention then? Because obviously, you know, that I'm guessing the attention is now suddenly different because obviously you guys have been on a TV show. So how are you two handling that? You know, those kind of changes, I guess, in the dynamics when now people just can come up to you and say, hey, How are you guys dealing with that?
You want to answer?
It's pretty cool. They approach us with great kind words. Nobody's actually like saying rude stuff. They give a little opinion. You know, every day we're out though, we have fans that are like, hey, like, you know, you guys are on the show.
Not out every day. There's
I said
out in the streets, yeah, out in the streets.
But yeah, man, it's been cool. Just last night, everybody, you know, there's a lot of positive stuff. A lot of positive.
I know for me, I get both. I guess that's why I had to stay off Twitter, because I was like, I'm not about to invite that negativity into my life. But I've had mostly positive, but there have been a few here and there. It's just like, oh well, you're this and you're that. I was like, okay, thank you for letting me know. God bless. So
Mm.
I don't really feed into it, I guess you can say, because at the end of the day, people don't necessarily know everything that we went through. They just know what they saw on, a show that was cut into like an hour, 45 minutes. So it's like, it's more to it than that. So I understand why people have these preconceived notions about us, but I mean, if you want to go be negative somewhere else. Leave us alone.
Mm.
Yeah. And you know that it's they got to create it to look a certain way. A lot of our great moments we had on the show they didn't really show.
Yeah. I mean, and we understand because it was it was episodes that they needed to get out, and they had to get to the root of it, so they couldn't show everything. So it's understandable.
I just wish that there was more
positive
love
moments.
leading up to when I proposed to her. You know what I mean? In
Yeah,
my
because it
head,
did. Yeah, it was out of. Yeah.
in my head, it just made more sense for them to kind of show us fixing it,
Yeah.
how we were fixing it, instead of kind of, oh, blah, 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 we argue, and then next thing you know, I'm proposing to her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of gaps that you guys really didn't get to enjoy because there were some great moments we had on our personal dates and really nice scenery setups. Yeah, conversation, everything, so. And I just wish that you guys kind of would have got to see those sides of us.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, everything happened the way that it was supposed to. Like we got the work regardless if people saw it or not. We still were able to get to this point now. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to say. I wish they could have seen how the work from Miss Doc was molding
Impacting
to that point. You know what I mean?
For obviously, you guys have got engaged, and as you quite rightly so, we didn't get to see you guys do the work part, which is really annoying. Go on, girl, flash it again one time.
You see my pearl? Wait, I don't know. Wait, where's the?
Bam.
Can't see it. I think the light is.
Oh no, the light's messing it up.
We say a little bit. What made you guys, or what should I say? What was the defining moments that made you realize we gonna get married? We gotta get married, or get engaged at least.
Shoot, man, everything we just went through, and leading up to that, I always wanted to. I would have asked Tamika to marry me a long time ago. In my head, I wasn't not necessarily ready, but maybe prepared. Just from a man's perspective, I always thought a lot. There's so much to come with an engagement, and then there's just things you got to have lined up. You know what I mean? So I didn't feel that I was in the right space to do that before. And due to the things that we were going through emotionally, it just didn't make sense. So that was the initial draw to put a ring on it. When they mentioned the relationship coaching and all, I was like, oh yeah, we gonna do this, and she wasn't with it at first. Like she was just like, nah, like I'm not really sure about that.
Yeah, I didn't even think that we would actually even get a call because when he told me that he was signing us up, I was like, okay, whatever, okay. Yeah. But when he was like, the producer reached out, I was like, what? Wait, what now?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then at that time too, we were actually separated.
Yes.
When all of the casting, when the initial things came, we weren't even together. So that was another challenge in it for us to even do it. We had to rebuild something that we had right then in order to even have the emotions or energy to even put a ring on it.
Tamika, for you, what did you see from Vince during the process that made you say yes on the final, or I guess on the final day, but yeah, that made you say yes to the ring?
For me, I definitely saw the fact that he was willing to put forth more effort as far as communicating more as far as being, being open to being honest about certain questions that I asked him about instead of always just saying, well, I don't want to talk about it type thing. So it was just basically still communication. Before Vince he's always been like a really attentive person, a really caring person, a really affectionate, like he's given me all of that prior to, the show and what our main issues were. So it wasn't really much for me to see change in that area because that's what he's always done. But as far as the communicating and me being able to fully trust and believe what he says type thing is what I definitely saw. So you did good, kid.
He did do good. He did do good, bro. Obviously, you had before you get married. Oftentimes, you have to talk to the father.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience? Was it nerve wracking? Was you just confident? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It was one of the most nervous conversations I've had with anyone ever. And me and her father have a lot of things in common. We're both Sagittarius. We both are really good with that. It was just a lot of chemistry, emotion. I'm have an emotional attachment to him for some reason. Just Mr. Nelson, he just that he has that energy. He's laid back. He takes care of his family. He's not into nothing wild. You know what I mean? He just wants to love his family and make sure his family's good. So, and I really liked that about him. That conversation was something that she said it was a must. Like, you gotta talk to my pops, or I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean?
No
So
entry.
she didn't even know that I spoke to him at all. The fishing trip, the fishing trip was totally planned. Totally a secret. So we did that. So we her mom, her dad, everybody's having to keep this secret. Production, everybody.
Don't trust nobody
until the day of the proposal. So her saying was a string of luck because she didn't know I spoke to her father yet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Until when you guys saw the parents come out, that's when she first knew they were even there. Mm-hmm. So that's why she said to her dad, if you can hear the soundbite, when she says, "Dad, because I told Vince if he ain't talked to my dad," like, you know what I mean? So it was major, man. It was. I think we both dropped a couple tears, and
I saw that
when I asked him for his daughter's hand in marriage. He was all for it. So it was a happy time.
Tamika,
Did you
I guess
think?
one of my.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go for it. Go for it. You were gonna say something.
Oh no, I was gonna say, did you think I was going to say no? Because the night before, I was over this whole. I told you I was like, I'm over this whole experience. I don't want to talk to nobody. Don't look at me. Like, I was done.
Yeah, it was.
And even when we were filming the scene, I was just like, I'm over this. What you want?
Yeah, I know. It was definitely. It was in the. I thought of it was in the back of my mind. Definitely.
Because I was not in the mood.
Tamika, what would you say was your fears of if Vince was to talk to your father? Was there any fears that you were thinking of that could come to play of Vince having a conversation with your father around the proposal?
No, I didn't have any fears about it at all. I mean, I didn't know that they were talking, but had I known, either or, I didn't have any doubts or fears about anything going left in the conversation. If anything, if it did go left, of course, my dad would have cursed them out. But other than that, no, not on my end.
Yeah. And there's a lot of the conversation on the fishing trip that you guys didn't get to hear that me and Mr. Nelson were discussing as well. So, and I wish, like I said, I wish you guys could have heard a lot more of the conversation. But it went well though. It went well.
What was I going to say? Last question. I had it. It's just gone from my head. Oh God. Yes. So, you guys have obviously set a date for the engagement. But Tamika wanted to bring it forward.
We set a date, but then it turned into we set a month because the specific day thing was kind of
We initially agreed to get married on September 12th because that was the day that we, were engaged. But I want to change it to earlier. I might change it to sooner. I might push it back further. We trying to figure out what's going to happen as far as COVID, because we want everybody to feel comfortable, and of course we want to feel safe too. So we're just trying to enjoy for now, and plus we have to enjoy our engagement now that we're able to actually show that we're engaged, because we had to hide it for so long into the the finale. So honestly, I just want to enjoy being engaged. I want to also enjoy working on what we've learned on the show, and still continue to go to relationship counseling, and then go from there as far as when we actually do decide to set a date and get married and save money, because Lord,
it's not cheap.
Okay,
It's not cheap. Okay. What would final thoughts? For you two, what would you want the audience to know that we didn't know about you two?
me.
Yeah, because you always say like.
I mean, I'm not a crybaby. I mean,
No.
I just cry when I'm frustrated
Mhm.
or when I'm happy. But I don't know. I mean,
anybody that was going through those emotions that she was going through, they were gonna cry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Everybody's
It's
here.
like somebody doing like this to you, and constantly you're going to break. So it's like, oh my God, okay, this is what's wrong with me. But
if anybody that didn't cry, I don't think they were doing what they're supposed to be doing.
no, that's not necessarily true.
No, I'm just
People are
saying,
good
like-
at expressing their emotions that way. Doesn't mean that they're not putting in the work.
So
Like you.
the hole's not all the way open. Then is what I'm saying.
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
but
It's not.
Anyway.
It's not a. No,
Exactly.
I'm saying like if those emotions didn't come out, like then I just feel like there's more work for you to do. That's all. Yeah, that's all.
But no,
all of these, all four couples have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Periods. We all know this. None of us are perfect, so it's not a jab. It's just that we all have more work to do. Period.
But for everyone else, I feel like there is love there. The love is real. I know a lot of people were seeing certain things and saying, "Oh, it's gaslighting here, it's gaslighting there." We both gaslight each other in the beginning. But I mean, it doesn't dismiss what happened. So, but we definitely have grown. I feel like I've grown personally. I can't speak for Vince, but I know that I've grown. And I mean, as far as what you bring to the relationship, you've grown. Like personally, do you feel like you've grown? Because you said, So I don't know. Anything else?
I'm just happy to be in the space that we're in. It's been a long few months, man. And we both took a little beating from Black Twitter and all that type stuff. But
And what's crazy is because once the show was over filming wise, we were good, but then watching the episodes, we had to relive it all over again. So we both were like looking at each other at the side eye, and I was like, yeah, and another thing. And he'd be like, well, Tamika, we already resolved that. I was like, yeah, but we got to stay in this moment for these interviews. We got to, he was like, no. I was like, I can't be in an interview acting all happy because this is they on episode 8, so I'm about to be on episode 8 kind of thing. So it was all over the place. So now it's like, now that it's over, I can stop.
Yeah.
And not look at something and be triggered like, I remember that day kind of thing.
Definitely. Because we're having to hide each other on social media. It got this last week. I was at the breaking point of that too.
He was in his little feelings on New Year's Eve, boy. He was
I'm just
mad.
like, yo,
he couldn't be in those pictures.
I want to celebrate with my fiance the way we're supposed to. I want to take pictures with you, post pictures. And so I was over it.
He was in the corner slunking like, oh man, I can't take pictures.
Sacrifice, man. Sacrifice.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we can give our social medias. I don't know what else there is to know.
But I mean, you guys, we're gonna have our YouTube page up really soon.
Come on now.
Made for TV.
Those are our initials. TV.
Yeah, made for TV. We're just gonna be recapping everything.
Yes.
We have a lot of new stuff to show you guys that
Come on
we've
now.
just kind of been waiting to, put out there. We both have professional careers in film and television, so we have a lot to offer other than just Tamika crying or me not telling the truth or any, you know what I mean? There's so much more to us.
It's more depth.
We work great together. We're both very creative. We both
Oh, lost you for a sec.
You there?
Yeah, we're there. Sorry about that. I lost you for a sec. Apologies.
Right, sorry. But yeah,
Go
we
for it.
both, man, we're happy people. We just, we went through something that a lot of people in relationships go through, and we just decided to share it with the world and to help other people. And we did this for y'all, period. So, and we just hope that you guys appreciate it, and we're around. You can follow us both on our Instagrams, and mine's
Mhm.
The Beach Kid, just like that. Tamika's is Tamika Shannon
_. TAMIKA.
Underscore.
Yeah.
Tamika Shannon _.
So that's basically it, man. I'm just looking forward to keep creating and building and getting better. That's it.
Guys, thank you
I know that was a lot,
so
sorry.
much. No, it wasn't. No, it was fine. I appreciate it. You gave a whole rounded response. I want to thank you again. Hold on, let me make sure this mic is muted, man. I want to thank you guys again for coming on here, sharing your stories, because this was not the first time you've come on to the channel. You came separately as well and shared your truths. I probably gave you guys both a bit of bombs, earlier on as well, both in your interviews individually. Vince more so. But I want to thank you, and honestly, I really mean it when I say it, that when I watched the reunion, I saw the growth. So I didn't need to see even the parts of you guys actually working it all together, because your responses on the show showed me, and even today as we've spoken, the responses that you guys have spoken about show the growth. And that's why I say that you two have done the work, number one, and two, you've actually shown the impact of the work on you two. And so for me, that is an important factor to have. It means that the two people who are sitting in front of me right now are actually on the right path. So again, I want to celebrate you two, and I want to thank you two. Keep glowing, keep looking beautiful. Okay, all right. Keep that arm firm, though, Vince. Okay, yeah, keep that arm firm. Devon will be waiting. You know what I'm saying? So keep that arm firm. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it's tight, bro. You know what I'm saying? But again, I want to thank you guys for coming on here. Last words from you guys too, though. Last words from you guys too.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us, and we appreciate everybody.
Yeah, thanks for being on this journey with us, regardless if you hate us or love us or hated us in one episode, loved us in the next episode. Thank you guys for everything, y'all's feedback, everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Well, guys,
and thank
it's
you,
been
bro.
beautiful.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having us. Thanks for even, appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, bro. Honestly, man. Thank you again once more. Audience members, thank you so much for coming through this interview. Well, I'm sure this won't be the last time. They're both great media people. You know what I'm saying? Tamika could be the actor. Vince is the cameraman. So watch out. They could be putting some stuff out there, guys. All right. Before you know it, they have their own media company. But for real, thank you again. I want to celebrate you two. And we look forward to you two getting married in the future. Keep us updated. And yes, we'll be blessed by that. Guys, appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded. Make sure you have a good day today. We'll see you guys later on for Michael and Shay. And maybe for luck, we might get Hollywood and Ashley. It just depends what God is willing to do today. Appreciate it, guys. Stay locked and stay loaded.